You're muted, Tiger. Hey, what's up, everybody?
I thought I hit the button, but I guess I didn't hit it hard enough. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Stack-A-Lector, episode number 3, season 1. And I'm here with my very favorite buddy, Frostbyte.
Good evening, all. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with us. We got a fun show for you today. I think you're going to enjoy the information that we have to offer. So first, let's do our welcomes.
Okay, let me go through this real quick here. I said a lot while I was typing, but we'll do it verbally. Welcome, L. Dog World. Michael Stacking. Pete Clark. Ron Pierce. Ronald Lutz. Daryl. I think I got everyone. And I hope a lot more will show up as we are doing our show. Welcome, Farmer Stacker. So welcome all to season 1, episode 3 of Stack-A-Lector. This show.
Hope everybody's doing well. Good Thursday. Dog World $4.99 super sticker.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it so much.
Well, you know, a lot of people do their giveaways at the end of the stream. Sometimes we're going to do things at the beginning. So chat it up real quick, and we're going to give away a quick sticker pack. You're going to email me for this. So I will put my email in.
Welcome.
Be chatting it up.
Sorry. You there?
What'd you say?
I said, welcome, AZ Coins. Also, welcome, Darren Gray. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I just wanted to say hi. You there?
I'm here.
Okay.
People are saying hi. Hey, Sassy, what's up? Good to see you.
Hey, Sassy.
Chad, what's up? Chad W. That's all I'm going to call you. Chad W.
Yeah, that's a mouthful and a half.
Hope you guys are doing well. All right, so we'll give this just a second. We'll let this run, and then we'll go ahead and draw for a sticker pack. While we do that, hey, Tiger, let's talk about the news.
You want to talk about the news? You always want to talk about the news.
All right. So many of you have been hearing information about the Federal Reserve and the desire to look at what's in Fort Knox. So I wanted to share something with you. I ran across this today. This is going to be something that's in your, you're going to have to pull this up, Tiger. Look down at the bottom. Yep, there you go. Pull that up full screen. What I wanted to do is I wanted to share this with everybody and kind of iterate a little bit that's going on. So first off, as you look at the Mint and the Federal Reserve, they're required annually to do checks and balances. So that means that they've got to do budget analysts. They need to look at things and need to find out what's going on. It's the law. Well, if you want to know what the law is, it's actually in this document here. This is the 2023 financial report. 2024 comes out. They review 2023. 2025 report is going to be over 2024. So understand this is the 2024 report about 2023. And the two items you're looking at are 31 USC 5116 and 5117. These are the two things that talk about statutory rates, and they talk about how much the rate per ounce is. In this case, gold is 42.22 ounces, and in silver, it is $1.29 per ounce. Now, the reason that they did this is because this is what gold was when they initially started to do this. But understand that this isn't some willy-nilly thing that they decide, it's time for a review. This is something they do annually. A lot of the stuff that you're hearing is just clickbait. There's no gold in Fort Knox. You see a bunch of people, small and big channels doing that. It's just clickbait. It's just to get you in there to find out what's going on. And then they tell you everything else that nobody knows the answer to, which is we hope it's there, but we don't know. Okay. That's bottom line. So Tiger and I were talking beforehand, and Tiger and I are saying the same thing two different ways, but I'm not going to speak for Tiger. I'm going to let Tiger tell you his viewpoint. So Tiger, why don't you take it away from here?
Okay. Basically, I don't know what we have and what we don't have. None of us truly do. I do believe that 4,800 currencies failed in 6,000 years. I do believe in the sin of man. I do believe that he who doesn't learn from history repeats it. So I think there's a chance we have nothing in it, although I don't think that's the bigger chance. I think we have less than what we were told we have. And I do believe that people will alter the numbers to make themselves look good. So going to see if the gold is there is one thing. Actually following the paper trail to see if it matches the physical trail is more important. Is it that we have all our gold is there, that should be there, and it's never been moved? Do we have only a partial? Has all this gold coming in from another country? Is that actually ours and it's coming back? Do they owe us money and they're paying us in gold and we're going to put that in there? Are we having what the banks would have as a run on the banks to do a stress test? All of these are very important questions, and having the paper trail will help us determine what do we truly have. Plus, then you have to worry about how much is that is fake, because a lot of China gold has been proven to be fake, and we could possibly have the same thing. Plus, a lot of our gold over there was obtained during 1933 during the President Roosevelt confiscation under Executive Order 6102, and they never purified it. They just melted it as constitutional gold. So where are we? And how do we determine? After multiple years of not having complete transparency, and to listen to Frosty talk, they do audits, but we're not made aware of it. And I know we'll never ever, as citizens, we'll never ever see that gold physically, although technically it belongs to the U.S. citizens. That we will never see it as citizens. They will keep it sequestered. So how do we know that we can trust our government to do the right thing? Those are very important questions to which I'm sure my partner in crime, who is a much better researcher than I, will tell you what he's found. We call him Mr. Deep Dive.
So I showed you guys. So first off, let me say to Farmer Stacker, congratulations on being the winner of the sticker pack. We'll do more of these randomly. We're not necessarily going to do them at the end. We'll do these kind of whenever. It's going to be very random. And what we give away will change depending upon number of people and who's active and things like that. So congratulations, Farmer Stacker, on the sticker pack. Please email me, and my email is in there, and I'll make sure I get this out to you. So again, as Tiger was stated, one of the key things about this is transparency. Transparency is the big one. Now, transparency in the form of an annual audit, people will say, well, yeah, but how do we know it's actually there just because they say it? And again, we can get into all the conspiracy that you want to. The fact of the matter is, here's something that Tiger and I talked about right before we came online. And that is, well, how much of this is being brought back to do the pressure test or that stress test, like the banks would do, bring in a bunch of money, they perform their stress test and it's fine. And I asked him a really kind of fundamental question. This is something that I do with my stuff. Now, the gold that I have here on my table, I bring it in for a specific event like this, and then I will take it back to the place in which I store it. But just because I have it stored in somebody else's vault doesn't mean it's not mine. You have to think about that. We have Federal Reserves, we have mints, we have other banks outside of Fort Knox, we have international relations. So just because it's stored maybe offshore, remember that 80% of the US currency that has been printed since the 1930s doesn't reside in the US. So just because it's not stored in one location doesn't mean that it's not necessarily ours. Well, the fact of the matter is, again, we don't know the answers. So what is this going to tell us? Bottom line, what is this going to tell us? The only thing that I can see coming from this is negative. And the only way that it's negative is if they open it up and there's nothing there. Now, I don't mind if there is $5 billion less than expected. Okay. So hopefully we don't find things like they found when they audited some of the London stuff and they found fake Chinese bars. Is it possible? Yes. Do you think they were positioned there? They were placed there? Maybe. But again, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. When you're looking at that amount of money, yeah, I mean, if we're missing half of our gold, it's going to have an impact. But I think the only way we really have a big impact is if it's empty. And I don't think that's what we're going to find. I don't think we have enough people doing these reviews of the U.S. Mint, the U.S. Treasury, year after year after year, to keep those books straight well enough for somebody like the Office of the Attorney General or the Inspector General's office to not identify those problems. I don't see that, right? Having worked transparency for things like that, I just don't see that as being an issue. I think a lot of what's going on is FOMO, it's anti-establishmentarianism, and it's anti-Trump and anti, Black MAGA. I think so many people are so frustrated with Elon. They don't understand why the shakeup is going as hard as it is, and they're looking for reasons to complain. The people who are streamers like us, the ones that are utilizing this, do it to get views, period, end of story. Nobody knows any more than they do what they're going to find.
I think
So when you see these thumbnails that are out there, gold's gone from Fort Knox, they don't have any freaking clue whether the gold's there or it's not. These people who are saying, well, I see shipments and shipments and shipments of gold, and we know it's all going to Washington. Well, that's great, but how do you know it's going to Fort Knox? Just because we have mountains of gold coming in doesn't mean that's where it's going. It's hyperbole. It's hypotheses. So what I want you guys to what I want to remind you all is, yeah, it's really easy to construct conspiracy, but let's take what we know and then establish discussion from that, right? Don't fall into the FOMO crap. We talk about FOMO with stacking and collecting all the time. Be clear of the FOMO, okay? That's going to cause more issues than not. And I wanted to show you guys this because there was another thing, and I've got to pull it up, and hopefully it finally decided to come across my email. I've been trying to send this image to myself. Let me see if it actually comes up. This is, ooh, it looks like it's going to open. Look at this. Ta-da!
Okay.
Pull up the thing that I'm sharing down below. All right. You want to know where our gold is? Screenshot this. Okay. So again, when you're talking about what's in Fort Knox, what's where, screenshot this. You want to know where they say our working stock of gold is. There you go. When you look at this information, you look at the breakdown, you're going to see that 2/3 of our gold is in Fort Knox, and then the rest of it's separated. Now, what's not captured here, okay, here, well, People think I have intelligent thoughts, but I know the truth. Again, you know what? I mean, it is what it is. But I can tell you, I really don't believe that if they open that up and there's nothing in there, you think they're going to tell us? That's going to cause an economic, it's going to cause our economy to collapse. It's just, there are so many negative connotations to that being empty. Number one, I don't think they would ever let that happen. But number two, I don't think that the people who manage the finances are smart enough. And I say that with all due respect to the hard workers that do the job. But I don't think people could keep these numbers straight for a good 40, 50, 60 years. Um, there's too much data, there's too much information that somebody would have screwed up along the way. And at this point, I just don't think that that's viable. So again, I saw this graphic when we talked about looking at some information. I wanted to share this with you. And again, if you want to talk about this more, then let us know. We'll be more than willing to break this down. But this is your general breakdown. Now, what's not included in here are your Federal Reserve banks. Your Federal Reserve banks are also under that 31 USC 5116. Federal Reserve banks are allowed to hold in currency through gold certificates, even though they're not like the gold certificates of old. They are able to hold gold certificates, which means they are able to store certain amounts of gold on site. All of those have ledgers against them, and that's tied into the final tally. So when you look at this, if the numbers don't exactly align, you understand why. But again, if you look at the 2013 or the 2023 report, again, came out 2024, you'll have a really good idea of where the gold is and where the alignment is. So again, beware of FOMO. We just want to bring you this information. And again, you're going to see tons and tons and tons of thumbnails from people you respect. And it's just them trying to get you to click on the information so you'll watch their video. So be aware of it, okay? That's all I have to say about that. Final thoughts before we move on to our next topic, Tiger?
Well, I think a large section of what's going on is that people are just afraid of change. They wanted to change. They wanted to change in power. They wanted to change in government. They wanted to decrease our spending, decrease our expenses, get a better hold of our growing national debt. And only one man has been willing to do that over a number of administrations. So this person gets into office and he starts doing as he was promised, which is answering the mega popular and electoral college vote. And now they see all these changes and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why? I think it's because they're afraid. They're used to things being the way they are, and now they're seeing things different. They don't see what's going to happen on the other side. I don't think any of us do. And you just have to put faith in God, and you have to put faith in the person that won the election by a landslide, because the way we were going was going to hurt our economy, hurt our status as world reserve currency. We were getting walked over by a lot of governments. Now, do not get me wrong. I am not 100% Trumper. I am a person who believes in doing what's right. And I don't think Trump is God. I don't think he's going to make 100% correct choices. I think he's going to make better than what we had. And we don't see the other side. So that's why I think people complain. They can't see the other side. They don't know what's going to happen. They speculate. They don't know what the history is of our country, like I did in some of my videos about taxes and tariffs. And now the fear drives complaining. And I think people need to spend more time researching what they're afraid of and not let fear control them. As who was it that said it? The only thing to fear is fear itself. And years ago, like most doctors, I was afraid of this, I was afraid of that, I was afraid of everything else. A lot of doctors live in that world. One day, I just said, I'm sick of being afraid. I'm going to do what I think is best, come hell or high water. And if I make the wrong decision, I'll try to find a way to fix it. From that moment on, I gained tons of more respect from my wife, tons of more respect from other people. We as a country need to do the same. Make the best decisions. Go see what's in Fort Knox. Quit complaining. Look at the facts. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence. And then if you have evidence, let's talk about it. What do you think?
I think that the person who said that is FDR, and he said that in 1933, just a month before he issued the order to pull back our gold. I think that's one reason you recognize that. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Oh, by the way, we're taking your gold. So I don't think you realize how pertinent that was to lead us into our next point.
Okay.
Very, very poignantly said, my friend. Yes.
I'm very intelligent, but sometimes I stumble on an increased level of intelligence.
Yeah. Well, I know what's funny is that you couldn't have segued into our discussion any better than a comment like that. And that was not planned, by the way.
No, that was divine intervention.
Yeah, that was fortuitous for certain. Well, let's go ahead and hit our topic of the day.
Okay.
So I did the news. So Tiger, I'm going to let you break out the pre-33 discussion.
Okay. Our Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, says no state will produce anything but gold and silver coined for the payment of debt. And for a long time, our country lived that way. And even some of our most strong-headed presidents, and the one I'm thinking in particular is Andrew Jackson, fought the bankers tooth and nail because he didn't want us to be controlled by them. Then much later, we run into Woodrow Wilson, who handed us over to the banks called the Federal Reserve. And then much later, we get FDR, who gives us Executive Order 6102, says no one can hold any more than 5 ounces of gold, with the following exceptions. If you're a jeweler, if you're a dentist, and if you're a collector. And anything that was considered before 1933 and collectible was exempt. Back then, they did not have slabs. But if it looked like a collectible, you were free from that executive order. I won't call it a law. It was not a law. It was not passed by Congress. So basically, there have been people who have, using the old term, hoarded gold in this type. And there are some people who not only hoarded it, but shipped it overseas to make it even more safe from the confiscation. So much later, December 31st, 1974, President Gerald R. Ford passed, I believe, Executive Order 11825 that allowed the citizens to have gold back again, and it didn't matter what type. There is some, I still am looking for this, but there is some talk that President Kennedy put foreign gold in the same category as pre-33. I still haven't found it, but Lynette Zhang frequently refers to it. So I personally don't have any slabs. The advantage of slabs is that they're sent to a grading company who verifies it, puts it to a grade, and the grade increases the value if the grade goes up or if the grade goes down. I very rarely, if at all, ever see an MS 69, and I've never seen a 70 because these were all intended for use, intended for circulation. Subsequently, they all have blemishes. How much? Depends on what you're looking at. So with the grades, you got the advantage of proving that it's gold, proving what quality it is. Is it jewelry level? Is it MS69? Is it something else? There is a lot of talk that a lot of stackers, a lot of collectors, a lot of numismatists will go ahead and pay more money for something of a higher grade. I've actually heard that many, many times, so I actually believe it's true. But is that best for me? I don't know. I think I would like to have some slab just to say I have some slabbed, but is it really going to help that much on the other side? That is where my partner is going to go into, plus whatever else he thinks is appropriate. But I still stack mainly for weight. The more weight, the more value. If you are a numismatist and you know what you're doing, you could hit those higher levels faster rather than by gaining more and more gold. You can have one piece and you shoot up because you have something that you know what it is and you know what people are willing to pay. So on that note, I'm handing the baton over to my partner over here, who is much more knowledgeable in slabbed, grading, and noticing things, including when slabs are not good slabs. So take it away, Frosty.
Yeah, I'll be showing that here in just a second. I want to bring something up to you. A lot of people may not know this. Tiger, bring up what I have down in the basement, please, if you would. I'm just going to read this to you. A lot of people say, was Woodrow Wilson happy with his decision for the Federal Reserve? And there's this quote, and this quote has caused much debate. This is something that I've read a couple times, and I have yet to find out what the true answer is. I hear both sides of this, but I'm going to leave this in your hands while we talk about this. And this is about the Federal Reserve. He says, I am a most unhappy man. I've unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is now controlled by a system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, after all, our activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but by a government of the opinion of the duress of a small group of dominant men. So was he happy with that? I don't think he was. I think he knew he made a major mistake. I think in the moment he was sold a good story. Let's call it snake oil, if you will. And it didn't take very long for him to actually realize what he had done. So when you talk about Woodrow Wilson, yeah, we have seen other presidents. President Grant, very much the same way. He wasn't a bad president. He just surrounded himself with people who made some horrendously stupid decisions. So just be thinking about that as we kind of move on. So Tiger, go ahead and pull that, actually leave that up, because I want to show you a couple things. As a numismatist, I work with a bunch of people. One of the things you guys will hear me talk about is make sure you surround yourself with people who can better you. It doesn't mean you have to learn everything. It means surround yourself with people who know these things, right? So this picture here is a 1907, a very highly collectible wire edge, high relief gold Godden's double eagle. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful coins that has ever been created. I think that they've actually named this to be one of the most beautiful coins ever across numismatists or across numismatics anywhere in the globe. They still consider this to be one of the most beautiful, definitely amongst American coinage. I think when you're talking about that, I think we're talking in relation to Pre-33, but because there's other coins that have come out that are phenomenally gorgeous. This is fake, 100% fake. Now, this coin came to me by Jack Young. He sent me a few of these, and I wanted to share these with you because a lot of people have the misnomer, they have the misbelief that just because it's in a slab makes it real. Just because it's in a slab makes it okay. And I'm here to tell you that the same rules apply in slabbed coins as in raw. You still have to do your due diligence. You still have to look at things like the logos. Now, this came from Jack Young, okay? This isn't me just pulling up a slide and saying this was fake. You have to look at the logos, the barcode, the colorations that are used, the wrong color of highlighted blue. This is too light. It needs to be a little bit darker color. The barcoding in the first section's wrong. There should be a little mouse with 3 things here that showing this. It doesn't appear in this one. This one, unlike many of them, does have the PCGS logo. It's the wrong font and in the wrong position, but it's there. But the coin itself is wrong. So there's so many things about this coin is wrong. So again, I'm going to be showing you a couple other ones, and I just want, again, let me show you this one.
While you're doing that, let me ask you, did you mention to the people who don't know who Jack Young is, who Jack Young is?
Jack Young is, how would I phrase him? He's gonna get mad at me if I say this wrong. He's like the Inspector Clouseau of the numismatic world. And I don't say that to be like he couldn't catch the Pink Panther, but he works and works and works and works and works and works and works tirelessly, even though a lot of the stuff ends with very little action. He continues to fight for the hobby of numismatics. He continues to identify and show people good and bad fakes, but present them in many different things. He's written, good God, I can't even speak today. He's written a great number of articles, been published everywhere. Absolutely brilliant. He's recently appeared on Livecoin QA. Brilliant guy. Okay, brilliant guy. Well, yeah, in some cases, way more than that, Chad, like a $20,000 mistake. In that grade, it's a $200,000 mistake. So way more than that. This one right here, this is a counterfeit. Again, looking at some of the items, wrong label, wrong type of barcode. When you look at the coin, obviously you can see the coin for AU58. That's a pretty good guess, but look at the date. The date is not quite right. It's just doesn't meet the normal standards of the date. So it's not correct. Looking at the reverse of this particular coin, the dating, the numbering on this is wrong. There's a couple markers that are located in a couple places. It's just a counterfeit coin. And so I just want to share these things with you. And this is a common one. Tiger, I did this one specifically for you. You have any idea why?
Is it because I've been talking to Lynette Zhang, or is it because I love coins that were from the time of my grandfather?
What coin did you pick up yesterday?
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I'm going to go for it. Here you go. Let me pull this up temporarily.
Well, yeah, just leave it. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. So there you go. So why is this important? Because this is a really good counterfeit in a fake slab. Now, again, just because the counterfeit is fake, or just because the coin is fake, well, the counterfeit is here too. But my point is, just because it comes in a slab doesn't mean it's good. Okay, there was a gentleman, and I asked the guy before I brought the picture up, and he said no. So I can't share it. But I was talking to a gentleman yesterday when I was doing this, who posted something in Jack Young's Facebook page, Fun with Fakes. And his father took in 6 gold coins and wanted to cash them in because, 10 years ago when he bought them, the amount of money that they've increased, he wanted to basically pay some stuff off, only to find out that all 6 coins were counterfeit. And
Wow.
when you're talking about anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per coin, in one case the coin was 15 to 20,000. You're talking about a huge amount of money that gentleman thought he had and didn't. So just because it's in a slab does not mean it's authentic. And just because you buy it raw from a notable collector doesn't mean it's authentic. There are authentic slabs with fake gold in them. And Jack Young has had to call the TPGs, the grading companies, and say, hey, this is wrong. This is a fake coin. It's a known counterfeit. Let me show you. And they've actually had to pull down listings. So it's important to have people in your network who understand good versus bad, regardless of whether it's a counterfeit slab or counterfeit raw coins. Understanding and having people who understand and can identify the differences is very, very important. Now, right now, we're in a unique situation. Listening to Tiger and Lynette Zhang talk about something, she had stated something about MS63 being equivocally, how do you say that?
Equivocally?
No.
Equal to.
Equivalently. I can't speak today for some reason. I'm having a tough time. Being equivalent. Oy, oy, oy. Equivalent.
You need some more Russian vodka.
I don't need any vodka right now.
I'm messing with you.
But the general prices for a raw coin versus a slabbed coin, there's not much difference in it. Now, when you talk about trying to resell, there's a couple of things you need to look at. One, we talk about numismatic value. We talk about this all the time, right? What's the numismatic value of a coin? Well, if you're going to sell it to a collector one-on-one, you're going to get more from a slab than you will a raw. If you're trading bullion back and forth between a dealer, you are not going to get back the $400 over a spot that you have prayed for. Yeah, we'll talk about that too, AZ. You're not going to get it back because not that it's not worth it, but they have overhead. Okay, they have things that they have to worry about. They have to be able to sell it for a certain amount. They have lights to pay. They have staffing to pay. They have things like that that they have to worry about. But you're going to get more from a slab on a resale than you are from a raw coin. Now, there are situations, there are occasions where that's not necessarily going to be true. Yeah, but again, it's one of those things where you need to be able to understand. So my comment, let's go ahead and pull our screens back up, Tiger. I just pulled that one up because I know you just purchased the 1911 and it was important for me to bring it up because even in that, we still have fake gold running around in slabs that many people wouldn't be able to identify as being authentic or not. Now, we've talked about a number of times, we've talked about where you can find this information out. You can go to my channel, you can go to Livecoin, you can go check out Jack Young. There's a lot of different places in which you can find information on counterfeit slabs. But in relation to this, right now, if you're going to be buying slabs, it's a good time because come on, help me. I'm extremely tired today, and I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. The premium on these slabs are at a really, really low in comparison to your raw gold. So if you're going to be thinking about buying a slab, this is the time to be looking at doing it. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that people buy slab. Now, I buy slab as a numismatic fiend, as a person who likes numismatics, because I enjoy the slab. I want to protect it. I want to show that it's authentic. I want to be able to track and see it and store it nicely. I want to be able to handle my gold. I pull it out all the time to look at it. I go over and sit down with my buddy and we go through his stuff and my stuff and we look at things and look at new stuff I've got, look at new stuff he's got, and we sit down and we pull it out. I can do that with slabs and not worry about getting stuff all over it. Whereas if you're dealing with nice gold, especially like buffaloes, you want to be wearing gloves, right? So I can do that
you have
easier.
fur like me.
Or you have fur like Tiger, which you have to worry about micro scratching in his claws. Oh wait, his wife declawed him. Now, boom.
That's fighting words.
It's a good thing he's not a bear. I'd have got in trouble. No, but it's just one of those things where, make sure you surround yourself. Now, is it better to buy pre-33 slabbed or raw? Really, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be buying it at whatever I can find the best price to be. If I'm going to be looking online and I'm going to be purchasing from somebody like JM or SD, or if I'm going to be pulling from one of those and I can find a pre-33 slabbed MS63 for a BU pre-33 unslabbed, I'm buying the slab coin any day. If it's $10 or $15 more, I'm buying the slab any day. Just because it's easier to maintain and easier to handle. But if I'm looking at stacking a bunch of it and I can get a way better price for raw, I'm buying raw, right? So look at the deal, look at what it's worth, and then make that decision yourself. I'm not going to say either one of them is better. Personally, I prefer slabbed, but it doesn't mean that, and you can look at the coins that I have on my table. I have pre-33 that's not slabbed. So I'm not telling you that that's what you have to do. Again, it's just one of those things that make a decision and make sure it's based off of knowing what you want, what the intent is, and then what your options are for resale.
Makes perfectly good sense. Now, when I bought this, she had this labeled as so much over spot, and she didn't really explain her math, which made it look like a little bit more money. But basically what she did was she took spot and divided it into whatever the gold value was, then added the premium, which made this actually less expensive than the 1/4 ounce eagle that was there on the table at the time. That's not this one, because this was bought on a previous date, about a little less than a year ago. But in this case, the pre-33 was a little less expensive per ounce of gold as opposed to the quarter. So yeah, I went for what was less expensive, but I also got something I like a little bit more than gold eagles, because I like gold eagles. I love the old stuff more because of the connection with my grandfather. Maybe under the theory that we might be able to avoid confiscation, which is a completely different subject. But those are the reasons I went for the the $5 Indian head.
Yeah, and again, the decision is up to you, right? You're going to make the decision based off of what your end goal is. The important thing here is to have a goal, have a plan, know what you're going for. But again, be careful with the iteration that, I'm going to buy a slab because I want to make sure it's authentic. You really need to make sure that you understand what you're looking at. So buy from a reputable dealer, buy from a trusted source, and don't be afraid to ask questions. If somebody gives you a hard time and you're in their coin shop or you're doing a sale between people and somebody wants to say, well, you know what? I don't have time for this right now. Are you going to buy or not? Be willing to walk away, because ultimately it's about your protection. Buyer beware, caveat emptor. If somebody's giving you a hard time because you want to test the gold, leave. And they're like, well, hey, you don't trust me? It's like, it's not that I don't trust everybody. It's that I want to validate and verify. So again, if it's like, well, it's in a slab, we can't check it, then consider not buying it. You always want to make sure that you protect yourself because, again, you as the purchaser are the one that matters. Now, if you're dealing with somebody and you happen to identify that it's fake, they may not know it's fake. I ran into a situation when I was first getting into the hobby where I bought a coin I was very, very interested in getting. And unfortunately, I thought, oh man, I got a good deal here. And when I called them after I received it in, I'm like, I'm sorry, but this isn't authentic. Uh, the conversation went something like, what do you mean it's not real? Like, no, 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 no. I've looked at it, I've weighed it, I got it from a coin shop. What do you mean it's not real? I'm like, this is not real. And I showed them all the materials, gave them everything, and the guy just is like really quiet because he had just taken that money to go buy an upgrade for his book. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's not real. And he was visually depressed. Now I've tried to purchase other ones online from eBay people that I knew were fake, and you can tell very quickly that they knew that they weren't necessarily real because no, if you get it, I'm not honoring the refund. If you get it, no, 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 we're not doing returns. Walk away from it. So make sure you have trusted sources. Make sure you have people in your back pocket that you can go to. And if you have any questions, there's always somebody that is willing to help. Make sure you know who they are and go to them. Don't have buyer's remorse and don't get put in a position where you're trying to do something nice for somebody and you get caught. Um, again, AZ's in here. His son will tell you what that feels like. It's a bummer to think you have something good only to be told it's not authentic. So, but allow people who have made those mistakes before you help you and help you learn. And this is one reason that we're doing this. So to buy Pre-33 stacked or slabbed or raw or slabbed, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. But my thing is, if you can get it for MS63 for the same price as raw, take the slab. So just validate it.
That's very true. Now, I will tell you from what I've watched out of Frosty. By the way, welcome, Long Live Coins. Nice to see you. Frosty can look at a coin and know if it's of a higher quality or not. And he can find out things about double dies and VAMs and stuff that it just takes education and someone who's willing to get that education and deal in that world. I don't have that ability. I tend to use more basic stuff because my goal is stacking more than collecting. So I rely on the same thing Frosty does in some cases, feel and touch. But then I'll rely on technology and science, where I've done some videos on things like the specific gravity test. By the way, I've got a really awesome video coming out on specific gravity to teach the non-mathematician how to use that test to the best of your ability and save yourself a lot of money. But also Sigma Metalytics, ping test, all this, that, and the other stuff. I've done videos on them, and I will continue to do videos on them. But it does not replace the knowledge of a numismatist. I could say, hey, I bought this. It's really awesome. It's blah, 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 blah. And you want to know the truth? I'm telling you what the seller sold me. He convinced me he knew what he was doing. Is it real? Is it not? This man will tell you. And if he doesn't, he knows people who will, such as Jack Young. I've never had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Jack Young, but I hope to one day. But the point is, there's scientific ways, and then there's experience, and then there's numismatic experience. And if you're going to go into, and Frosty, agree with me or not, if you're going to go into a numismatic version of getting Pre-33, you either A, better know what you're talking about, or B, have a buddy who knows what they're talking about.
It's all about having a network. And then, again, we say this every week, but this is exactly why we're here, to bring both worlds, stacking and numismatics, together to allow you guys to have some resources to talk about it. I don't know everything there is to know about numismatics, but I can tell you what I do have. I have a good network of people who will support me and help me to help you. Tiger doesn't know everything there is to know about stacking, but he does have a really good solid base, and he knows a lot of people who can give him a lot of good, credible information. And we want to pass that stuff on to you. So again, this is for you guys. Now, we enjoy this. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy teaching. We enjoy education. We enjoy helping, but we do it for you. This is ultimately what it's about. So, Tiger, let's go ahead and hit the button. Let's wrap things up. AZ coins, more options are better. Absolutely. All right. So is Dog World going to be going live or no?
Yes, she is. Thank you for bringing that up. Everyone, when we're done here, if you could all raid Dog World and you, Elle, would you put a link into the chat for me, please, for Dog World? But if you can all go there, she's going live at 7 Eastern. What time is it right now? 3 minutes from now. So she's doing an amazing job, and for someone who still is getting her feet wet, she still worries about her accent and people not understanding her. She worries that she's not going to do a good job, so she hasn't really come into her own as of yet. But if all of you, thank you, long lived. But if I want her to get her own, get her into her groove, find her niche, and turn Dog World into an amazing YouTube channel where people come to her for advice or training of their dog, maybe buying a particular breed. But also, I want to see her number skyrocket. She needs 500 view hours to get to monetization. She was down to like 300, but being that she was so afraid of going live and all that, she lost some hours because she passed the 1 year mark. So if you can all go over there, maybe even get into her playlist and watch the playlist, so that and even if you're just like minimally listening, but the computer's running, she still gets the view hours. But help her to get to full monetization. She has the subscribers. She's over 1,000. Now she needs to get her view hours up. So go over there. She's got some really pretty Rottweiler puppies, and I'm trying to get her to a point where she is going to do more with them than just petting them while she's telling you the information, which is really awesome information. But please go visit her, start visiting her regularly. And when we're done here, can you please go ahead and let's do a Stack-A-Lector raid to Dog World. Thank you, Elle.
Yeah, so I put in 3. I want you guys to do me a favor. First, go to Dog World, stay there if you want. But if you go to the other 2 channels that are also friends of ours that go live, please go in. Just make sure you say Stack-A-Lector raid, just so that they know we're sending people. Don't say Frosty, don't say Tiger, say Stack-A-Lector. We want this to, people go, who's Stack-A-Lector? Let's have them look up, share it out. A lot of people don't even know this program has started. We've only done 3 episodes. So help us by rating them and shouting out Stack-A-Lector. That would be really, really appreciated.
Most certainly. Most certainly.
And all right, Tiger, that's all I have. You have anything you want to say? I just want to say thank you guys. Be well, be blessed. And you know what? I'll see you guys in the streams.
The only other thing I got to say is she didn't declaw me, and I wish you'd quit pulling my tail.
That's too funny.
Okay. I'll see you all, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I guess it's safe to say that Stack-A-Lector, aka Tiger and Frosty, are out. Bye, everyone.
See you later, folks.